Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Hey.
That was
supposed to be my robot voice.
is that your oh okay. I thought that was your I'm just one of the guys like hey,
No.
when are we gonna go play some football, guys?
No, that was terrible. It was supposed to be my robot voice. Hey, we just saw a movie.
I guess that works. That's all right.
Hey, this is Michelle.
Why are you so quiet?
I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
You don't have headphones on. You can't tell.
I don't need headphones to hear you in real time.
I didn't think I was quiet.
Hey, I'm Michelle. You're like, you can call me Flower if you want.
Isn't this our ASMR podcast?
No, this is not.
Oh. I mean, isn't this our NPR podcast?
NPR.
Where we talk about things slow and quiet?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is, hey, we just saw a movie.
Oh, well, this is Michelle then.
And this is Josh.
And it's our podcast.
And I'm not talking quietly.
Me neither.
Now you're not.
Okay. Continue.
What am I continuing with?
What did we watch? Tell the people.
Tell the people what they've won?
Yeah.
Wait, that's not how we start.
No? Yeah, we usually say, and we just watched blah, 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 blah.
What we just watched in this movie. Yeah. We just watched Les Cop de Robot.
I don't know.
What?
I don't think that's what we watched.
I'm sure that's what, I wonder what it's called in French. Is it called Robocop or is it called like Metal Cop Fights Bad Man? Like
right, when we saw
what
those.
was it? It was date night was
Very
the
bad
Hangover.
date or something?
No, the Hangover was Very Bad Trip.
Yeah,
That's what it
but
was
then
called.
there was like date night and it was called like Very Bad Night or something.
Yeah,
very
everything's
bad.
very bad in France. Everything's not awesome. Yeah, so we watched Robocop.
Yeah.
Are you actually looking up Robocop
I
in
was
French?
looking it up, but yeah, I don't. Oh, 1987 French petite poster. Let's see what it says. 50% ohm, 50% machine, 100% flick. Robocop.
Ohm? Is that man?
Mm-hmm.
Ohm?
HOMME.
That's like man?
Mhm.
Huh. Never heard, like, where does that even come from? Like, no one uses any, I guess ombre, I'm just saying, like, most other, is French a romantic language? They all seem to kind of have the same kind of words, and French seems the most off from all the languages I've ever fake learned.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I wasn't prepared to deep dive into
French culture or linguistics.
That's more Googling than
Google.
I had planned to do.
Le Google. I'm French today.
Le Google.
Le Google.
I don't think so. I apologize, France.
I don't apologize for anything. Come and get me. So, what have you been up to, huh?
Not work. Oh, I went back to work last week.
You did?
I had, because if you've listened, y'all know I busted my arm flying off my one wheel.
Kabam!
Yeah. So I had been recovering for 6 weeks. My doctor said, I'm giving you 6 weeks off work. So I said, okay. And that ended. So I started back to work last week and it was pretty rough.
Work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You wouldn't think, I don't know, just sitting and your arm hurting, it really disrupts your like ability to strategize and get work done. So
yeah.
It was a little rough, but I did it.
And I know when I stick needles in my eyes while I'm working, it's pretty painful. It's it's like, man, I thought this was going to be this was going to be really helpful and easy, but it's not.
Yeah. Were you doing like acupuncture in your eyeball?
Yeah.
Is that
I was trying to get like, the thing in the back.
Yeah.
The retina.
Yeah.
Trying to do retinal acupuncture.
Should probably stop doing that.
I read it on Reddit. It said retinal acupuncture.
You read it.
Retinal action puncture.
Action puncture. That
That's
could be a thing.
that's when you punch somebody in the eye. That's more action puncture.
Yeah. But that's pretty much been my stuff. That's what
Your
I've been
stuff.
doing. Mm-hmm.
There,
And still watching the Great Bit. I can never say it right. The Great British Baking Show.
that's hard for you to say. Great British Baking Show.
See, you can't say it.
That's because I tried to say it fast,
Try and just say it.
and then my lip turned up too while I said it.
Yeah, try and
I
say
was
it.
like, "Oh no, I'm a horse, but I'm also Elvis." What is it?
Great British Baking Show.
Great British Baking Show. Great British Baking Show.
See, now
Great
you're
British
trying.
Baking Show. Great British Baking Show. Break.
Mm,
British
mm, mm,
Baking
mm,
Show.
mm,
Oh. Do 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 do. All right. I bought kettlebells this weekend.
You did.
Yeah, I used them
And
yesterday.
you used them.
Yeah, what did you think I was gonna do?
I'm just
Paperweights?
saying, this is America. People buy and
This
pay
is
for
America.
plenty of exercise equipment and memberships and don't use them.
I use
you
everything I
did it.
have except for some of my gear.
I was using my row machine until I broke myself.
Yeah. Whose fault is that?
Now it's in the corner, and as you said, not to throw clothes on it. Now that's what I do. Because
You
what
throw
else?
clothes on it. Take those clothes off. I gotta use it. Yeah, I've been working still. We're doing secret stuff I can't talk about. And what else? Getting ready for Thanksgiving, getting all the stuff together because we're not going anywhere because of COVID.
Josh is
and
cooking
whatnot.
turkey, not a turkey.
No
A little
jive
bit of
turkeys.
turkey. There's only 2 of us, so we don't need a turkey.
Yeah,
So
we could get a small turkey, but I've
I
never
think it
done
would
a
just
turkey.
make me sad,
turkey?
and I don't want to deal with turkey.
Really? You wouldn't have to cook it though.
Well, you wouldn't ask me for. Well, I can't help. So,
Yes.
I guess you could have done it.
I have no worth.
Yeah.
Whatever. So that's kind of all I can remember. A lot of TV, some Civilization. I've been meaning to play Mario All Stars. Still, I've been wanting to play it on the screen, but then, I just don't. So that's what I've been up to.
All right.
So what we've been watching. Yeah. Goof Troop. What have we been watching?
Oh, well, since you said Goof Troop, we watched a couple episodes of the new Animaniacs.
Oh yeah. We did.
Animaniacs. It was. I was surprised how quickly that all came back to my head, like that whole theme song.
Right, yeah. Like how many episodes you actually watched?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh yeah, I forgot. But yeah, everybody's gone so far except for Pinky and the Brain because I think Slappy or whatever her name is, the squirrel with the umbrella, she could have been in the show. She's not. She's kind of timeless. There's always a weird older lady.
I don't even remember a squirrel with an umbrella.
That's what we now call a Karen. She was kind of a nosy Karen. So yeah, I think that's her name. But she was just kind of.
Well, we only watched a few episodes. Maybe they'll bring some more back.
Maybe, but in the beginning they only bring up Pinky and the Brain.
Oh,
like
really?
they cut out. In the original they did the good feathers and all that was in the rhyme of the song.
Oh.
And then that's why it kind of like they do it's time for Animaniacs, and then they just go Pinky and the Brain. It says no, wanna join the universe. Slappy waxer with a purse. Something.
Oh.
So they went through all the characters, but then they jump with whoever the first slot was.
Yeah.
They throw in Pinky and the Brain, which
Forgot
works
about all
if
that.
you've never watched the cartoon. But if you're not, you're like, wait, that's not the words to Sweet Home California.
Right.
California? Alabama. Sweet Home. That's like,
I mean, that was definitely not the words.
yeah, that's not the words. I guess there are no words. That's more if the Chili Peppers did Sweet Home Alabama. But so we watched that. We watched Queen's Gambit, which everyone's watching. So,
Yeah. We
we're not
binged that
special.
on Sunday.
Yep. We watched season 3 of Killing Eve.
So I saw that the Queen's Gambit, now they're saying that chess sales are up.
Now they're saying, I think that was
They
pretty
said-
obvious that was going to happen.
I know, but it's just funny because
when a movie has like killer whales in it, people are like, hey, where can I get a killer whale from?
Is this going to be the same people who signed up for archery when Hunger Games came out?
Well, those people are older now.
So the chest sight's going to sit next to their bow and arrow.
That would be a funny
their
sketch.
Pristine bow and arrow that never got used.
That'd be a funny sketch. Someone who has like an old Dalmatian, a bow and arrow, a chess set, I don't know, whatever else.
Roller skates, some roller skating movie.
For some reason, they bought drums after seeing Whiplash. Right. You know, like all these things. But, you know, humans, we want... Yeah. Like when Michelle Obama wore some random outfit and then everybody wanted to go to Kohl's or wherever she got it from and buy the same outfit.
Right.
It's just who we are as people.
It is. If you love
copycats.
It, you do you.
Non-original copycats.
Learn to play chess. I hear it's very complicated. It looks very complicated, and I have never really had the desire to learn to play chess.
I used to play chess and checkers with my grandfather, but
checkers
I've never understood chess enough to know. Like, I didn't even know watching the show where I was like, oh, this is just like playing an instrument. You just go like, oh, like I was telling you, like, I can go pentatonic scale, and then I could play like the chords, and then I can arpeggiate, and it's like, oh, these are all just patterns. Yeah. And you chain the patterns together to try to win. I just used to be like, okay, my rook can go here, and then maybe I can get over here eventually.
But on top of that, you have to visualize what the other person's going to play. Like, you have to be able to, like, put all that together, which I'm sure I could.
Oh, now you're... I'm sure I could build $1 billion business from the ground up.
I'm sure I could figure this out. But,
it's like fencing.
Just never really had the desire to.
I realize it is. You've got to know like how to move, but then also how someone else might move. Or boxing. It's like any fighting sport.
Anticipate.
That's right. You got to anticipate the next move. La, 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 la. Next segment. So
moving on.
Let's get into the cop.
The Robocop.
Cop. So take it away.
Me. Yeah. Oh yeah, the IMDb.
Me, the IMDb.
Right. All right. What's IMDb got for us? IMDb says, in a dystopic and crime-ridden Detroit, a terminally wounded cop returns to the force as a powerful cyborg haunted by submerged memories.
Submerged? Sounds like water. It sounds like he was drowned.
Brains have water.
Way to save it. You should have been in the meeting for that writing of that sentence.
Yeah.
Like, brains have water. I'll allow it.
Sounds logical.
It's okay. It's an okay.
I mean,
synopsis.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's not like the 1-2 episodes we did.
I'll allow it for this movie.
Why?
I think I'm going to have some controversial thoughts about this movie.
Controversy. So let's get started then. Let's know your controversial thoughts.
Well, okay. So this is a movie from your boyhood.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Yeah.
You were, or I should say we were 6 when this came out.
Yeah, when it came out. I don't remember.
You didn't see it as a 6-year-old though, right?
Saw it, I think we saw it on VHS.
Okay. How old were you?
I guess probably 7, probably as soon as it came out on VHS.
You were still little. Okay.
Yeah. We watched all the movies. We watched Hellraiser. We watched Nightmare on Elm Street.
All right.
I remember I wouldn't sleep because I watched Nightmare on Elm Street.
Well, yeah, that's going to keep you up for sure. Okay.
Can't go to sleep or the clown will eat me.
Okay. So did you love this movie?
As a kid?
Yeah. Did it hold up?
It's funny.
Did it hold up?
Yeah, it's still funny. Like, I think if you don't overthink it, it's still like a funny movie, and I think that's the intent. I don't think the intent. It has like this kind of sci-fi Philip K. Dick intent, but it's more of like a silly.
I feel like the intent was not silly. I feel like this was an earnest movie. Like I didn't get that this was like on purpose. Silly.
No, I'm saying, well, it's silly in some ways and then tries in other ways, and then also it's an 80s movie. But I don't think they were like, I'm a thespian and everything I say is, it's like you've got you've got a guy who's laughing like Ron Funches through half the movie.
Yeah.
And you have all these different like silly things. And so it's
it had
that's what
its
I'm saying.
purposely comedic moments.
Yeah, those
yeah,
are,
okay.
They weren't, that's what I'm saying. They weren't taking the movie so seriously. Like,
right.
we're going to talk to you about the police
But it wasn't
state.
meant to be cheesy.
No, but it's an 80s movie.
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
There's no way around the cheese.
There's
it is
very
what it
few
is.
80s movies that aren't cheesy. And they're probably because they're made to be cheesy. Like Ghostbusters isn't cheesy because it's just silly and stupid.
Right. That's on purpose.
That's the only way it gets away with not being 80s cheesy.
Right.
But what other controversies do you have?
Well, the only controversy is that according to Rotten Tomatoes, people really love this movie.
Oh, really? What is it?
90% tomatoes.
Wow.
84% audience.
Wow.
And that has 226,000 ratings.
But what age group are those people in?
I have no idea.
And when did they see the movie?
I have no idea.
I think the movie's still good.
Rotten Tomatoes
it's not 90% though.
Was not around in the 80s. So, this has to be...
Yeah, it's a nostalgic lens.
This is people watching it back.
It would be better to ask millennials or whatever generation, I don't know what generation we are or other people are, because the news keeps changing it. But it would be interesting to ask 20-year-olds to watch this movie and then only rate it.
And then rate it.
Yeah.
So I wish I had seen this in the 80s or 90s or whatever. Because then I could have that nostalgia.
I guess you could have seen it at any point. But
yeah. Well, when it came out, when I was younger. Because then I could have the nostalgia for it. But it was okay.
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
wouldn't give it anywhere near the Rotten Tomato ratings it's got. I would give it like 50s.
Really?
Maybe, yeah. But it's because I do love action movies.
Uh-huh.
And they felt like it wanted to be an action movie, but it wasn't really. So it was like a movie with some action thrown in, but it felt like it was supposed to be bigger. But I'm also basing it on all the action movies I've seen, like in my more recentness.
In your 2010s to 20s?
Yeah, so it's hard to watch an 80s movie and not judge it on what can be. But also just based on because I started thinking, I was like, all right, don't just hate this movie. I was trying to just, watch it. What is it? Not subjectively? I
don't know.
Whatever. But there was no, and I feel like this is kind of typical for 80s movies anyway. There's no real character development, just jumps into things.
Oh, yeah. In the 80s, you don't develop. Right. You just blow things up.
And the actors just say words, and then they okay, next scene. And then this thing happens.
You just got to make the story move.
Right. So it's okay, and then next scene, and then next scene. And so anyway, I didn't really care about who this guy was.
Right.
Some of it was fine.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, I wish I had seen it before, so then it would have the bigger nostalgia meaning for me.
Yeah.
But
that's interesting. Yeah, I think so when I was a kid, it was really violent, which was cool. The guy gets run over after falling or driving into nuclear waste,
and his head flies off.
Blast into a bunch of diarrhea bits.
Yeah,
and the Ed 209 thing. All those little things were funny to me. They were just funny. They're still funny. But I think you're right. As an adult, when you watch it, it seems like they were tackling multiple things, and they didn't know which thing they want to think.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a bunch of stuff about the police state and the state of media and the state of the decline of cities over the last 50 years. They were tackling all these different ideas.
Yeah.
As well as a man versus machine personally and as a city and whatever. Corporate greed, all these things that plagued a lot of big cities and pretty much still do in some sort of way.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the problem with it when you look at it as an adult or looking at it now older, where like they were trying to do a lot and they didn't do too much on any of those.
Right.
I think the best thing that they did really was foreshadow a lot of things, and then also I think highlight things that I maybe didn't even notice as a kid. How, was the saying, like some things never change or whatever the term is. How like some of these things have always been happening. Like the whole I'll buy that for $1, and the was it the 6,000 SUX? It's like
Yeah.
this car that you need to have that's going to make you a man or make you a housewife or whatever. And it's literally just 6,000 sucks.
Yeah. One of my favorite details from the movie.
Yeah.
6,000 sucks.
It's funny. I didn't even think about it until you said it says 6,000 sucks. And I was like, what's she talking about?
I
It's
thought the cop-
SUX. And then I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I thought the cop was making fun of the guy because he was okay. So that scene too was funny because it was a disgruntled former employee had gone in and like taken the mayor hostage.
It was
right?
Ron Miller. He was one of the council members.
Okay, so he went in. He was mad. He took the mayor hostage.
The mayor.
And a couple other people. And so the guy says, the cop says, terrorism is a very tricky business.
Oh, I didn't even hear that part.
So then, he's yelling at him through the window, whatever. And the guy's like, give me a car, give me a blah, blah. And he's like, okay, I'll get you the 6,000 SUX. He's like, yeah. And I totally thought the cop was making that up just to make fun of the guy. I thought, and then later it was an actual car. And I was like, oh, that's pretty clever. I like that detail.
So what happened to him? Oh yeah, that was after Robocop.
Robocop threw him out the window.
Yeah, so I think that was the interesting thing of like how many things they kind of got right about, militarization in police departments was already happening, but just at the level it's at now, incorporating machines into policing and
he called it the urban pacification.
Oh,
that's what he called it.
I think the other thing that I didn't realize when I was a kid was that this was a whole plot that is a normal plot, and I think in reality is a normal plot is, and we don't usually talk too political on this podcast, but it's what I have felt has happened the last 4 years, where you have somewhere that you want to demonize so that you could take it over, or you can sway voters to your side, and you don't provide funding or help to them. So it's like Detroit was literally dying, and they didn't want to pay the police department, and then they hired a private company to come and start revitalizing the police department by then sending robots in instead of people. So you were then going to create even more economic depression by laying off all these police officers eventually, and then just have a bunch of robots who we come to find out have never been tested.
Right. They give you 20 seconds until they shoot you.
Yeah. Drop your weapon. Yeah. You have 20 seconds to comply. So it's like you end up in these situations where, Detroit sucks, and we need to do something about it. How did that happen? I don't know. And then you roll in with your goons and you make a bunch of money, and then profit from it, building Delta City or whatever it's called. New Delta City.
Delta City.
So it's just kind of funny how some things change and nothing stays. I don't know that saying.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah. They just escalate a little bit. So I thought that was interesting about the movie. But yeah, it was trying to be like a psychological film about a man coming to grips and finding himself. It was like Memento.
Well, the guy who wrote it was sort of inspired by Blade Runner.
Okay.
The poster, specifically.
What?
He saw a poster for Blade Runner.
You know what really inspired me? Like what? You're like Shakespeare. You're like, oh wow, like the picture of Shakespeare.
Yeah, He ended up teaming up with another guy who had basically the same story. He had thought of it too, and so they teamed up. And
did they do the classic, like, what if we turned a guy into a half robot cop? We'd call him Robocop. Holy crap, we're saying the same thing at the same time. Are we duplicates of each other? Let's write Time Cop next. Have you seen Time Cop?
I don't. Is that the one where what's his face does the splits on the kitchen counter?
He does the splits in so many movies.
But that's the movie with this. I'm not a fan of that guy.
That's like saying, is that the time when Hulk Hogan said brother? Like, I don't know.
It's just Time Cop. Is there 3 boobs in Time Cop?
That's Total Recall.
Oh, okay. Is it a feature movie though? Like,
is it? Yeah, it's a feature movie.
Okay, I think I just mashed all those movies together.
It's not like he has a stopwatch like timing people.
Oh,
he's going through time as a cop.
Okay.
The 80s and the 90s didn't really think through titles like Face Off. It's just, hey.
It is what it is.
There's a face coming off. Con Air. There is a con person in the air. It wasn't this internal sunshine of the spotless mind. Like, no one knows what that is. Moonrise Kingdom. What does that mean? 80s and 90s, straight to the point.
Moonrise Kingdom was not in the 90s.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
That means nothing to me.
Okay.
What does Moonrise Kingdom mean?
It just sounded like 2 words. Yeah. Okay.
Fantastic Mr. Fox at least gives you something 80s, 90s. So. Yeah.
Well, can I tell you?
Tell me nothing.
Can I tell you about some things that I read about this film?
Tell me them.
That I discovered.
I want to learn to there.
Okay. The director for the movie.
Hans Zimmer.
No, but I don't really know how to say his name. He's Dutch. He's from the Netherlands. Anyway,
Dutchin'.
He originally saw the script. First glance, thought it was disgusting. Threw it in the trash. Literally threw it in the trash. And his wife took it out of the trash and convinced him to make the movie
on it.
Yeah, she used it to wrap up the fish. No, she convinced him to make it.
Why?
I don't know. Does it say? She thought it had more substance than he thought it did.
As Mr. Jung says, listen to your wife.
Mm-hmm. Y'all don't know who that guy is.
That's right.
But that's his motto. Listen to your wife.
Yep.
Okay. So also the Dick Jones character.
Which one was that? You know I'm not good with names.
The guy in the gray suit. The
older VP?
Yeah.
Okay.
The guy who ended up being shot at the very end out the window. He was based on the writer's landlord while he was writing the movie. Where he was living, his landlord was also named Dick Jones and wore gray suits.
That would be
and was
a
drunk.
Lawsuit nowadays.
Right? Yeah. So this thing included that his landlord had the same name and wore gray suits and was drunk all the time. But the guy in the movie was not drunk all the time.
No, because that would have kind of diminished his character.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't have fit his character
right.
at all.
But he did wear gray suits. And I assume the landlord was a jerk. I don't know.
Did he take a dump and then not wash his hands and then put his hands in another guy's hair?
Rub his hands through another guy's hair?
Pull his hair?
Yeah. What was that?
Yeah, that was an interesting scene.
That was an odd scene.
I think that was a weird power move, but also like a slightly homoerotic power move. He just got really close in the way that... And
I yelled, kiss him!
When you grab the back of someone's hair...
Like, that's intimate. That's not like... That's not an angry power move. I mean, I guess it could be, but that's an intimate, like, angry power move.
So to put it in perspective for some people who might be listening to this and haven't watched the movie. So there's a weaselly dude that gets the Robocop program started while this old guy's trying to get the Ed 209 program started. And Ed 209 ends up killing a guy in a demonstration. For some reason, they loaded Ed 209 with actual bullets. And so that's where you drop your weapon, you have 20 seconds to comply comes from. You may have heard someone say that and you didn't know what it was. It was from Robocop. And so the guy puts down the gun.
Do people just walk around saying you have 20 seconds to comply in everyday vernacular?
You may, if you liked Robocop.
Is this a movie?
Like, for example,
is this a phrase?
For example, if sometimes you take a while to get ready to leave, I could say that phrase.
I'm just saying, was that a memorable line that people quoted in the 80s?
Yeah, I heard people, at least me and my friends said it. I know people that have said it. I still quote this movie.
Yeah, but I've never heard you say you have 20 seconds to comply.
You sure?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm sure.
I think I've said
I'm
it.
sure.
I've said it. I know I've said it in the last 30 years.
Carry on.
So finishing my dissertation. The Weasley guy is talking smack about the older guy.
Which in a bathroom.
In a bathroom.
Which guys just
Don't
that's
ever
the
talk.
worst
It's every
place
movie,
because
yeah.
they're always in the
They're
stall.
like, Debbie's such a slut. She's so dumb. And then
Out pops Debbie.
And then Debbie's, what'd you say to me? then
And they
bam,
never
bam,
wash their
bam.
hands.
Nobody washes
Which
their
is
hands.
where your story.
No, what you do is
going.
in movies, what you do is you kind of run your hands under 2-3 times.
And then you flick the water.
And then you flick the water and then you say something clever. You grab one
paper towel.
and then, kind
Throw
of
it
do
on
the
the
thing.
floor.
And then you throw it on the floor or throw it like over your shoulder. And you say, that's why none of you guys are going to the prom. And
Right.
then you walk out. And then people are like, I have pink eye. How did that happen? So the dude's obviously taking a dump, which is the whole scene was
Or he's
interesting
a shy
because
peer.
he could be, yeah.
I think his feet were pointed though that he was sitting down. It seemed like.
I think the scene was weird enough that he was taking a dump because I think that's the weird thing. This dude's talking bad about you in general in business, especially as those guys were functioning. It would be kind of not, I don't know what a better word, submissive for him to come out of the toilet and not be embarrassed that he had took a dump. Like for some reason dumps are like embarrassing things. So I think he would have just
they smell.
Well, yeah. Your shame. No one wants to smell your shame.
Yeah.
So, him coming out and just being like, what did you say? And literally there was like 15 people in there. They all cleared out because they knew that dude was taking a dump. And so he stepped to him and was like, I forgot what he even said, but he pretty much told him he's on thin ice and
Yeah, he
doesn't
pretty
know
much-
who he's messing with.
Right.
And because he was like, the younger dude was like, oh, he's old and he's on
But
his
he
way
got
out.
right up in his face.
Right.
Didn't wash his hands first.
Yeah.
Got
and put his
right up in his face.
So he got some of the chocolate in the dude's
Then-
hair probably.
Ran his fingers through the side of his hair.
Oh yeah, he did run
and
it
grabbed
and then
the
back.
the little hairs because he does
didn't
not have
that
long hair.
I was just
Grabbed-
thinking, what if he was wiping, got the poke through, and then grabbed the hair?
I mean, we don't know what happened in that stall.
he could have not even wiped. Oof.
Well, yeah.
He could have had his own personal.
This
bidet.
whole scene, it could have just didn't really need to happen.
It was. I thought it was. It showed what kind of crazy person he was.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I forgot why I was saying that to preface why I was bringing that up. We were talking about something.
You were just setting up the scene so people understood what was going
we were
on.
kind of talking about the scene.
Yeah. So more things that I learned about this movie.
What was that?
Peter Weller was
Mm-hmm.
not first choice.
They never are.
No. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That would have been horrible.
And then a couple other guys, I have no idea who they are. Rutger Hauer and Michael Ironside. He has a name that sounds like he would be an action guy.
Rutger Hauer would have been great for him because Rutger Hauer was in Blade Runner. So the writer would have been like, "Oh my gosh!"
Right.
Arnold was too big.
That is
to
why
put-
none
he's
of them
big.
were cast.
He's big, and then put him inside of the suit,
Mm-hmm.
and then the suit would just be.
That's exactly why they were not cast, because they were too big to be inside a Robocop suit.
They say,
So-
"We need baby Peter."
Right. They cast Peter because he felt that he could adequately convey pathos with his lower face. So he was cast because he was small and could bottom half face act.
Like, can you move your lips? He's like,
Yeah.
yeah. And like, you have it.
Yeah.
That's what
Just
we were
some-
looking for.
Some cherry chapstick.
Yeah,
And,
a lot of cherry chapstick. Oh my goodness.
And
His daughter must have been like, Dad, more cherry chapstick.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's how that's why he got cast.
If they were to reboot this movie for a third time and they tried to do it like that one, he would have glossy lips
Yeah.
because that's what's in now. He'd get fillers, glossy lips, glossy fillers.
So while we're talking about this suit, he said that he was losing 3 pounds a day from
Oh,
being in this suit in the Texas heat.
That's right, because
Yeah.
they were in
Dallas, Texas.
I forgot how the music to Dallas goes.
Is that it? Never seen the show. I just know about it because it was filmed not too far from where we lived.
I think that's probably why I was slightly comfortable about moving to Dallas, because I had seen the intro to Dallas, and so I kind of knew where I was going. I knew I wasn't moving on the. I know I wasn't living on the farm
South
or whatever,
Fork.
But I was just gonna like, oh, I've heard of that city.
You
know
were
what I'm saying?
moving
Like,
to the ranch.
like if somebody told me like, oh, we're moving to Two Forks, Nebraska. I'm like, what is that? Oh my goodness, we're all gonna die. But I was like, Dallas, I've heard of that. Okay,
like, all right, they're big enough to have a TV show about them.
Like
so, all right.
Hey,
little did you know you were moving to tiny Wiley outside of.
I knew it was
Dallas.
a small town, but I didn't know how small.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about the Dallas part. Can we talk about that?
Yeah. Okay. I have other things, but we'll come back to it.
I just think it's interesting. Like, I don't know if I might have watched this movie like a couple of years ago, but I don't think I was paying attention to all the Dallas things.
Yeah, you're pretty good at pointing out places. Like I was watching that, I knew it was Dallas. Like the obvious Dallas bits.
Right.
But you were like, oh, I wonder if that's the Shell station on the blah blah blah.
Well,
street.
you remember that gas station, right? The closed down gas station.
Vaguely.
Yeah.
Vaguely.
There was a gas station in a big old lot on Abrams? No. What was that street? No, Ross and 75.
Downtown Dallas.
In downtown Dallas, where the Backdoor Comedy Club used to be. And I think, right across the street was where they filmed the thing with the gasoline. Then the boarded up high school that's, I don't think still is used, I guess was used in the film, is where the police headquarters was.
Right.
And then I think by the 24-hour fitness, they did some scene. I can't remember. But I was kind of like, oh, I know what it is. And then when they what do you say? Do you think you can fly, Jimmy? Or
oh yeah,
yeah.
He throws him out of the truck.
Oh yeah, can you fly, Bobby? I think that was done. That was done on the south side of the Trinity River, like going parallel to I-35.
That wasn't the scene that had Reunion Tower in the background?
No, it was.
Oh,
but
okay.
Reunion Tower is like right
there.
Yeah,
yeah.
So where Fuel City is, I think they were on that side.
Oh, okay.
Where Fuel City is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty good at this spatial recognition, I guess. I don't know.
I have a Google Map brain.
Yeah, you do.
I just can't tell you what the street names are.
I know that's Dallas.
I know I can tell you to get there. I just don't remember all the street names.
There's Reunion Tower and the building next to it that looks like steps.
And where Jim Rinkowski got married.
Yeah. And the pointy building.
The pointy building?
The triangle building. It's triangle at the top. It's kind of like a twisty triangle. That was in a lot of the scenes.
Twisty triangle?
Yeah.
I don't remember that one. That was kind of cool to kind of see that.
I was thinking,
obviously City Hall.
Yeah, obviously City Hall with added drawn.
It's like what you probably watch in the British baking show, where there's like this much cake and then they add like all this stuff on top of it.
So I was watching this thinking, like it so obviously looks like Dallas to us,
right?
And I guess if you know, like about Reunion Tower, the Dallas skyline.
If you just know Reunion Tower, you're like, what the heck is that?
Yeah, you're like, this is obviously not Detroit.
Ball.
Right. But it made me think of like because I was like, why did they show like so obvious landmarks? But then I was thinking, I wonder if this is how people feel that live in like Vancouver or Toronto.
Or LA.
Or here.
Like when you watch The Office,
but a lot
like
of the times
watching The Office and it was literally like a mountain. This is Pennsylvania.
Right.
Scranton, Pennsylvania. There's like a mountain and palm trees. And it's blue.
But
like seriously blue.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Or kind of LA. But they're a little bit more careful.
Or a metro bus drives by in Miami-Dade County for
Los Angeles.
For what's the guy? Dexter.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess so, yeah. And then you're like, wait a minute, that's my city. That's not whatever city they're trying to trick me into.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're like, wait, that's a
You just
What's it
don't.
called
You
in
just
Canada? I said Tom Collins. What's the place with the gross donuts?
don't. Maple leaf coffee stuff. Tim Hortons.
Yeah, Tim Hortons. There you go. Oh my goodness. People are like, you gotta go to Tim Hortons. I went there, and then we got those donuts.
Sorry, y'all.
They
If
were
you're a
gross.
fan of Tim Hortons, we are not.
They
That's
were
all.
gross.
Yeah, they were no good.
I'm gonna ask Ginger about that. I'm like,
It
"You
could
like
have
Tim
just
Hortons?"
been a bad location.
Nah, those are bad. We got it because I think we got donut holes. I got like a couple.
Yeah, we went pretty basic. Like, how do you mess up donut holes?
Yeah. Inconceivable.
So anyway, that was kind of cool. Seeing Texas. Not all of it was filmed in Dallas. The
And, like the trashy scenes were somewhere
the
else.
warehouse thingy or the mill or whatever.
I've never seen that in Dallas.
That was like in Pennsylvania or somewhere.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Rust Belt.
Still wasn't in Detroit, but
Even in the 80s, Rust Belt.
yeah. So
Dallas.
Dallas.
What's your next thing?
The suit. Can we go back to the suit?
Oh, back to the suit.
Yeah, I just have one more thing about the suit.
Okay.
Is that they had a $1 million budget for the suit.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. Not a lot of people do that.
They
They'll
spent
be like, oh, we need to
10 months on it. They only spent like 3 months shooting the movie, or like 2 months shooting the movie. They spent like 10 months making the suit. Originally, it was supposed to be like bright blue, but that didn't film well. So they made it gray, which I guess is why it sort of has this bluish shimmer to it. Like
Yeah.
purpley blue shimmer.
They had the sand off the blue.
Yeah. But they made 6 of them. 3 were like the nice ones, and then 3 were shot
The
up
ones
suits.
he falls with.
Right, the ones he just jacked all up. But it's funny because the designer said that it was meant to look speedy.
Look speed.
Robocop was anything but speedy.
Robocop's hilarious because I was thinking he's like, to bad guys, he's like the good Jason. Like, you know,
Yes.
people always running from Jason. He's just kind of like walking. And I'm like, just punch him in the face.
Right.
And he's like,
Right.
like when he goes
His slow
looking for
clomps.
me, and then they shot him, and he just kind of like,
I was like, why did you give up you made a distraction so you could get the drop on these guys, and then you're like, hey, funny line.
he was literally like a motel guy. It's like, hey, I'm here. I got room 5. Okay, follow me. And he just kind of like sloughs.
Yeah.
Here's your key.
Yeah.
Ice is over there. Like he walks so slow.
But the poor guy, so poor Peter, what's his face?
Weller.
He even hired like this Juilliard movement coach to help him like create movements for RoboCop.
Movement? Or did he think he was going to be more fluid? Or
I think he thought he was going to have more range of motion. So he wanted to have like a specific man-machine
this makes a lot of sense.
movement. But then he gets in the suit and they're like, crap, man, I can't move. So they had to come up with like new slow and purposeful movements is what they went for, as they were like, oh, this is going to make him look purposeful, I guess.
This makes a lot of sense.
But I'm guessing that's what the whole turning of the head, and he was very like had a very sharp
I felt like
movement.
he was like a pageant queen or a bodybuilder. He was like turned to the side, like, smize, fierce, Sasha
right?
Fierce.
Like he was doing his runway, and then he would get to the end and flip his head and then turn his body.
That'd be a nice. Has Robot Chicken done that?
They should.
Robo pose
with
Billy Porter. Oh my goodness, that would be amazing.
So, yeah, that's that on the suit, and then the music, which I'm sure you have thoughts on the music. But it was made with synthesizers and orchestral, right?
Man versus machine.
Exactly. That was the point.
That's always the point.
Yeah.
Man versus wild.
Okay, here's my favorite thing, which I think we actually maybe watched the this version of the film because it was originally given an X rating.
Ooh.
For all the violence. Not for the boobs in the beginning. It was
you can't get an X rating for boobs.
I know. But it was too violent, and so they I guess went back 11 times, edited and went back 11 times, and then eventually after 11 tries, they got down to an R rating.
They literally just wore down the board. The board was like,
Yeah.
fine, whatever. I don't
So
care.
I think, though, maybe we watched the original version because unless there was more, but they said that the one of the scenes that they had a problem with was when that guy gets shot up by the Ed 209. Is that what it's called? Ed 209?
Those look normal to me.
When Kenny got shot in the office?
Yeah. When Ed 209 shot him and he fell out the window or whatever, he fell on the
The
city
thing?
plans.
Yeah.
No, I remember that.
Oh, okay. Well, they said that they just pared it down a little bit for the R-rated version.
I don't know to what degree.
He didn't get shot up as much.
I don't know to what degree. I don't know if we saw the R-rated version, but the X-rated version, he got shot for another 45 seconds.
Right.
But, it's still like by 80s standards, it was pretty
I
violent.
mean, that was a lot.
When I saw it, I was like, oh, snap.
Right.
Because there was blood just like.
Yeah, that was like.
And the guns were gigantic. So
excessive. But I was wondering, I was like, what is the bullet count on this movie? They shot, like, that was. It's kind of what you always think,
oh, yeah,
like.
because Robocop was spraying like 5 bullets every squeeze.
Yeah. But like in movies where the good guy shoots the bad guy, but never like shoots them. They just shoot them once and then walk away and assume they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
But this is how the good guy should be shooting up the bad guys is like, 52 shots and then he's done. And he doesn't come pop back up and try to kill you again.
Well, I think it's a sign of the times because in the 80s, it was the age of the machine gun or the Uzi. So you had the sprays. So everything was like, the 6, 8, 9 shots, the shaking
right,
shoulders,
and your body's
all that. So that was the 8. Now, we've worked to the point of precision. Like everybody likes the headshot. So as we saw
I don't
Atomic.
like a headshot.
You're not everybody. But it's like Atomic Blonde, all these things that they do the leg kick and then they come down and
right.
John Wick, like everything's about precision.
Right.
And back then it was just like blow up everything.
Right.
Like,
just shoot as many bullets as you can.
Like you don't just shoot the guy. You shoot the guy until he falls through the window. And then when he falls through the window, you throw him over the balcony.
Right.
It's just like excessive 80s-ness.
Yeah. So that was kind of funny. But that was, they had to curb that enough to get down to an R rating. So they could actually release this thing.
Yeah, it was very violent for the 80s.
And when they shot up Murphy or whatever.
Yeah.
They were just shooting how is he still conscious? They literally blow off his hand and it's just blood spurting everywhere.
He definitely would have passed out if at least.
Yeah.
He had a vest on, so there could have been points. Obviously, after so many shots, the vest would have pretty much like gone into his chest.
Right.
But after, the first
didn't they actually blow off his arm too?
They shot his arm. No,
they shot his hand off, but then
they blew off his arm.
Yeah. So I mean, like dude would have just bled out. I mean, but whatever. It was just at some point I was like, dang, they're like these guns have like unlimited bullets.
Well, I know that, the 80s also didn't care about magazines either.
Right. There was no reload. It was just shoot.
It was just shoot. The documentary thing I watched on this movie, they talked about how I think they had a very limited time to shoot that scene. And if you probably could tell, when I was 9, I couldn't tell, but it was animatronic puppet that they switched to. That's why the camera swoop to the back.
Oh yeah. I was like, did his head just turn to paper mache? I was like, what?
Well, yeah, it was like this latex body thing, but it was like a whole body with like all the pumps to get all the blood, the fake blood. So it's this really expensive, crazy prop that they didn't have enough time to shoot with. They wanted to do better shots, but they didn't. But so yeah, I think. Like I said, I think the things I really liked about it was like the police state idea. How even today we're always fighting against privatizing everything that has to do with like people's lives. Like jails are already privatized. So if you were to privatize police forces, or even in situations where you have armed guards, like armed security and different things, like that kind of territory becomes kind of sticky. I think I told you this earlier. The funny thing, I used to work for Tribal DDB back in the 2010s, and for a short stint, and they got bought out by Omnicore, I think it was. So when I started working there, I was like, wait, isn't this the company from Robocop? But they're called Omni Consumer Products.
OCP.
That's right. You down with OCP?
Mm-mm.
No, you don't know me. But I thought it's kind of like same thing. Like people are always fighting with these companies that want to turn a profit. They started out making baked beans in 1845, and then they have defense contracts now.
Right.
Like, they make machine guns and also pianos. And you're like, what in the world?
What?
So, the funny thing to me about the whole, so Ed 209, that was always the funny thing. Like, put down your weapon. You have 20 seconds to comply. But when Robocop fought Ed 209, I thought it was funny that Robocop forced him to shoot himself, and then he goes, ah!
Yeah.
And then when he goes to try to walk down the stairs in the Asimo stance and then falls, he starts screaming like a child.
He
and
did.
I was like, why did you it's like, why was I programmed to feel pain? Like, what was the point of giving him emotions?
That was possibly my favorite thing from this movie.
Yeah.
Because he even did, we've seen those videos on like YouTube of like puppies learning to go down the stairs.
Right. Yeah.
And they'll put like one little paw out and like kind of
right.
Like they don't know if they can reach that next step. And why was this robot doing that? He was like the scared puppy at the top. And I was like, oh, please, Asimo, please fall like Asimo. And then sure enough, down he went.
Well, I think the person who was animating the Ed 209, most animators come from that world.
But clearly, though, his feet were way too big for steps.
Yes, but I'm just saying, like, the reason that happens is the same reason you're saying. Like, in cartoons and whatever, like when we watch the Disney stuff, the animator's sitting there with a dog, and then they watch the dog do, like, stuff.
Right.
And then they animate that. So
yeah.
I think he did that as, like, a funny little thing. Like, it's obviously a device to keep Robocop from being further attacked, but it's also like, oh, I'm going to animate this thing, and then I'm going to make it kind of silly because, just like you said, it literally is a puppy.
Right.
It's all it had done is shot somebody a couple of times, and then they unleashed him on Robocop. So he was like, I've
never encountered stairs.
And then he just like falls on his back like a roach.
Right. That was another little beautiful, silly little thing like the 6000 SUX.
SUX.
Turns out the Ed 209 SUX as well.
Yeah. Ed 209 SUX did.
Yeah. But I loved that so much, him falling down the stairs.
It is kind of interesting, this story of this movie was kind of interesting because the guy who owned Omnicorp wasn't dirty at all.
Yeah, I really thought he was going to. We kept waiting for him to be the evil mastermind, and then he wasn't.
It's like the VP was, and the VP was also almost bested by the Weasley dude. So his whole scam that he was running almost got bested by technically him not doing his job, because all he had to do is make sure Ed 209 worked right. And if he would have done that, everything would have gone according to plan.
Well, and that's the thing too, is that shows you like he wasn't trying to put, if it had a good purpose or whatever, but he wasn't trying to put out a good product, because who's not going to test that thing to make sure it can get back up when it gets knocked over?
Right.
Like,
but remember he said that, which is also another thing that, I know I'm conspiracy theorist here, but it's reality, is another thing with corporate capitalism and government, is he said, I don't care if it works. We had parts set up for the next 20 years.
Oh yeah, this was all about the contracts.
Right. So it's like the F-35, which has been in development for like 20 years now. And the project is contracted, I think, throughout all 50 states or something like that. So people are building things all over the United States, which makes it impossible to ever kill, because if you do, you will be the congressperson or the president that killed a bunch of jobs. But actual product is crap and it's probably never going to go anywhere. So it's like,
No, yeah,
Ed
these are
209
just all these deals, handshakes to get
Right.
something else done. If you bring jobs to my state, blah, blah, blah.
Right. Ed 209 was a crap product.
Yeah.
But all he cared about was saying like, oh, we created all these jobs. So literally it's like, hey, can you dig this ditch? And then can you fill it? And then can you dig it back? And then
Right.
can you fill it?
Yes.
So it's just
For
that.
20 years.
Right. You know, I guess you can raise your kids and send them to college. I guess you end up getting screwed somehow, but you seem like you're not.
So, in an interview in 2013 with Edward Neumeier,
Scissorhands.
no, that's the writer, right? Neumeier.
Sure.
So he said, oh, I just lost it.
Well, while you're looking for it.
Oh, found it. Okay. He said he reflected on how the film script is starting to play into reality. This was 2013.
Yeah.
He said, we are now living in the world that I was proposing in Robocop, how big corporations will, quote unquote, take care of us and how they won't.
Oh, yeah. They'll take care of us. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The crazy thing I was thinking about in the beginning, so like when I watch movies from my childhood, I try to obviously look at them from a different lens. And I was thinking, this movie made me think about like, oh, I should watch childhood movies like every decade and see what things I noticed out of them I didn't notice before. So the thing I noticed in this movie is the police chief went up to Cecil or whatever and said like, hey, get a collection for his family. You know what to do, which means, which they say in the movie later on, so many cops have died that this is just a normal thing.
Oh, yeah. He said,
like
give your donations to Cecil as usual.
Right. It's like Sunday like collection plate.
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
like, yeah. We
Well,
know.
and I'm sure you didn't pick up on the strike as a kid, did you? Like, because that's what they said.
That was not important at all.
They said
The
we
story of a
lost
strike.
We lost 5 officers last week.
Right.
So we're striking.
Right.
They're like, we don't want to be cops here anymore. We're losing people.
Right. Yeah. That went right over my head because I was like, where's Robocop?
Right.
I want to see Robocop.
Right. Where's the
Where's
robot?
the explosions.
I don't need to know why they're building him.
Right. I thought it was funny because I know when that lady showed her, well, she didn't show her boobs, but she was getting dressed. You were like, ah. But I thought it was interesting because it was like, it was so looking at things how things are now, like with race and gender and all that stuff. There's way more women in this film than I remembered.
Oh, yeah.
And there's way more like diverse cast.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, because his partner is a woman. It's pretty tough. She gets knocked down both times, but hey, you know, she did punch a guy in the face a couple of times at the beginning. There's a couple of women on the board. There was a few women scientists. There was also I think a black nurse when he was going in and out of a thing. There's many different types of people. And so I was like, oh. And then I was thinking, either they've kind of gotten past like, women getting dressed with men, or their budget was so bad that they were like, we can't have a women and men's changing room. It's just kind of like, hey, you're going to see guys' butts and you're going to see boobs. And you're going to see women put on bulletproof vests without a bra or a t-shirt.
Right,
So
that's
if you
the
just
thing.
like chafing.
It made no sense, is the thing.
Yeah.
That's what, when the scenes were like, don't make sense.
Yeah, she should have been putting on a
she
t-shirt.
would have had a bra on and a t-shirt and then your vest.
Right.
And then your shirt. Like, it's how the dudes wear it, minus the bra. But so anyway,
yeah, she should have been putting on a bra.
Yes, that would have made sense. That would have made sense if she was actually getting dressed.
Right.
But she wasn't.
Yeah.
She was putting.
I thought you were just mad that there were boobs.
No, I mean, that's kind of annoying, but it's a
there was
locker
dudes'
room.
butts.
I know, but so whatever. But
The 80s,
really,
the 80s wasn't progressive. They didn't
The
have the guys turn around.
right.
That wasn't until what was that movie?
Oh my gosh.
Dewey
many.
Cox?
So
Yeah.
many. Yeah. No, it was so stupid that she was putting a bulletproof vest straight on to her boobies.
That's right. You got to put the what's it?
You can't run
The butt
around.
butter or what is that stuff?
Right.
But
So yeah, I think it is.
butt paste.
Butt paste.
Butt paste. So you gotta put the
I mean,
butt paste
it's not practical.
No.
No.
Not at all.
I don't care if it's supposedly the future.
Yeah, in the future,
You still-
we'll wear bras.
Yeah, you still need. The girl standing next to her had clothes on, like had looked properly attired.
But she was fully clothed.
No, I think she had her vest on.
Did she have a shirt under that?
I think so.
Oh. Maybe this chick's just dumb.
I don't know.
Maybe she's Ed 209. This is her first day.
Maybe she didn't get the memo.
She's like, but it's my first day.
The girl next to her should have told her, like, hey, your boobs are really going to hurt.
Yeah. You're going to fall out the sides. You're going to get shot in the, my
Right.
boob.
Yeah.
Why?
Like, it's
Because you
gonna
didn't
be-
wear a bra.
We're not going to have time for you to change later. So,
You just got to.
just get this right now. Anyway.
Oh. What else before we
What else
retire?
you got? What else you got?
When from what I remember as a kid, I thought he went home to his family, but I was telling you, like he went to try to go home to his family, and his family was like, which could be RoboCop 2.
Well, that's how I responded when he took his helmet off. I was like, put that back on.
You're
I don't
"Dude,
like his bald head with the wires in the back. I don't mind the wires. It was the big giant.
You're like, I think
head.
the wires are cute. His face is ugly.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't know.
think
it was the top of his head and the way it cut off. It was
where the
weird.
metal meets the road. literally.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird, but
Yeah.
you gotta. I don't know how they did that, like in that world. How they.
I also wouldn't have thought his eyes. See, I didn't think he still had eyes. I thought he was all like robot.
So that's the weird thing. If you're gonna make somebody a robot, and also remember they said, why did you keep his
arm.
hand?
Yeah, he said, I want him to be totally whatever he said.
But he
replaced.
still had a face, he had
Right.
a mouth, and they fed him baby food.
And they gave him food.
I'm like, if you're gonna give somebody a nice robot body that costs, well, at least for the production of the movie, $1 million. So let's say $5 million in their world, because it had to be really expensive to build the first ever.
Right.
Which is kind of weird. You put the first ever right on the street to be stolen and then stripped for parts, but whatever. So,
and he didn't have a partner or anything to
there
like.
could be Jawas out there.
Yeah.
Who knows? So, but you, what was I saying?
The first ever robot. Oh, because he wasn't totally a robot.
Oh, right.
He still had
So
a
you spent
digestive
all
tract.
that- yeah, you spent all that money and then you don't even fix the dude's digestive tract.
Does that mean he also poops and stuff? Like,
That's who?
does
I
his
don't
suit
know.
have like a little pajama back flap?
Maybe it catches it like in a tin can and then it opens and then plops the tin can out.
Maybe.
It's like the garbage trucks
Yeah.
that pick up the trash cans. It's just
Flings
in
them.
reverse.
Yeah.
It's just like and then drops it out his metal, my shiny metal butt. Yeah, it's kind of weird. The other thing I thought, why didn't they shoot him in the mouth?
Right?
That's what I was like.
Shoot him in the face.
Yeah, like Ghostbusters, like aim for the flat top. You're like aim for the mouth, and then everybody's just trying to shoot him in the mouth,
Yeah.
and then that's all you need.
I mean, at the end, they figured out they needed more firepower to blow him up. So they
But
got that
barely
right.
Did
Wait, I mean, with his slow, fast walking away,
yeah.
he outran those flames.
Yeah, man, that's out. He would kill with the mall walkers.
Yeah.
He would just be like, "Look at me, dead or alive. I'm gonna be first to the food court."
And the loudest walker of them all. Yeah.
Was he that loud? Or was that just-
Yeah. No,
Oh,
like all
it
his
wasn't.
footsteps.
209 made the
dum,
made the.
dum.
He was. Those were 909 kick drums.
He was clumpy. Yeah.
They were
Clumpy?
literally 909 kick drums.
Yeah.
For feet.
For feet.
909 kick drums for feet.
Oh, what was the scene where we like, that was a good beat? What-
I don't know when he was walking.
No. There was something happening.
Oh, I don't remember.
Something was glitching or they were repeating the words over. And we were like, you were like, hey,
Oh yeah, I can't remember what that was.
oh man.
Oh.
I was going to ask you to make a song with it.
No, I don't remember. Yeah, not too much more.
That's it.
RoboCop. Watch it.
We
if
did
you
it.
haven't watched it, you will find out that people are corrupt and
And
people
the future
is female.
doesn't look that much different from the 1980s.
The future won't look much different.
Oh, here's another
I don't
thing.
believe in this kind of like world-changing future.
No.
I think of Judge Dredd, Minority Report, like that kind of. There's nice cars and there's nice billboards, and anything that comes from a corporate sense, nice. Cities, not so much.
So it's funny because he said like Blade Runner was like an inspiration for how the movie looked, and I'm like, that didn't look like Blade Runner at all. But it is funny how a lot of the times if it's the future, you just put lights on it. Like there was lights around the trash cans for no reason.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's the future trash can. But nothing about this movie made me think like this was future of any sort.
Not the futuristic Ford Taurus police cars.
Right. No, yeah, that's why they were chosen, because they looked futuristic at the time.
Yeah, I'm like, man, so many Ford Tauruses and Ford Escorts. They were the Hondas of the day. The Honda Civics. Either the Escort or the Taurus. Everybody had one. Or two, depending. So, with that,
we did it.
We let you know that we watched the Robocop. Check it out. Enjoy it. Let us know what you think about the cop. Drop us a line on our Instagram at Hey, we just saw a movie.
Do you still love it? Do you give it a 90%, 84%, whatever is it? Yeah.
That's what podcasts do to get their people involved. They ask them questions.
Yeah.
And that's
Answer
what we're doing.
us. You have
subscribe.
20 seconds to comply.
So yeah, look us up on Apple, Spotify, whatever.
iTunes, Google, wherever you podcast listen.
Stitcher, Bumble, Tinder, Jaeger.
I don't think we're on some of those. I'm not on some of those.
Schwarzenegger. I'm on all those. I'm on all those, but it says happily married. I just want to meet on Zoom.
I'm here to confuse you.
Yeah. I'm a thirst trap.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Patreoner, Ben Merritt.
Is he still a Patreoner?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Just checking. I haven't checked.
I mean, yeah.
He's a private supporter.
Our supporter. That's our shout out.
Do what
you can get a shout out.
Ben, tell us if you want us to do a certain movie. You own us.
Yeah. Ben, pick our next movie or a movie we're going to watch in the future.
Yeah. If you support us, you can pick a movie for us. How about that? A first ever. I'm saying it here. You support us.
You can pick
Patreon,
a movie.
You pick a movie.
To a point.
To a point. No pornos. And
or just really dumb movies.
What was the one you were saying?
Something about turkeys.
Chicken Run?
No, it wasn't Chicken Run. It was turkey. I was looking for a Thanksgiving movie,
crudes.
and it was about time traveling turkeys. Josh said no.
You said no after looking at 26% Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, yeah, it looked
Don't put
bad.
this all on me.
But yeah.
Just you.
Yeah. All right.
All right. With that,
that's it.
I say, I'd buy that for $1.
There we go. Bye.